Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to OCD Recovery's YouTube channel. I wanted to talk about a topic that I've been discussing a lot in the one-to-one sessions, a lot in the coaching calls, in the webinars, which I will be talking about today on the acceptance webinar, which I think is sold out. So if you are interested in any of the webinars, please email phil@ocdrecovery.com and just ask about our services. We have a lot of webinars coming up. We usually do one a week, so they're really good. I wanted to talk about the age of perfection and how we went from no information to too much information, and why many people have an ideology, an idea that they're going to live forever, and they play it really safe, which is an understandable perspective for life, but it is the bleak reality is most people get married, have kids, drive them to soccer practices, stuff like that, they grow older, and they die. That's the bleak reality that Rob and I were just talking about in a one-to-one with someone. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. People enjoy many good moments, but there can be much more to life from an experience standpoint. So let's go back to 1900. In 1900, in the time frame of 1880 to 1920, a lot of things had happened. I can't remember when the first flight was with the Wright brothers. I think it was in 1913. The steel industry with Andrew Carnegie. Manual labor and just using your hands as a male was a lot more prominent as a job. Don't get me wrong, there's always was doctors and lawyers and stuff like that. But we didn't have as much information as even, say, the 50s and 60s and 70s. Obviously, as time goes on, and generations go by and decades go by, we have a lot more information. But I believe that information is now becoming a detriment. I see this with a lot of my friends in exercise physiology. I see this with a lot of my friends that are high up in nutrition research. There's nothing wrong with being well-versed in research, but I think there's a connotation that there's always more to know. And I think that dire need for more information can be problematic. Great things happen. Advancements in technology, advancements in medicine, in anything, but there comes a point where it still needs to be weighed in a rational manner, which I think a lot of people have a problem doing. So humans, in our natural innate sense, are extremely, we're very black and white. Black and whites are easily to conceptualize. They don't take a lot of forethought. Rob said something amazing this morning that really stuck with me in the one-to-one. And it's the truth. Most humans are not intelligent, not because they don't have the actual capacity to be intelligent. It's because they're very surface level in the way they live. And to actually go out and learn new things, whether it's a language or mathematics or physics or science or building or construction, whatever it may be, requires more effort than we want to put in today. Because today we're living in a world of what we call LFT, so low frustration tolerance. Albert Ellis, when he was creating rational thinking back in the 1950s and practiced it all the way until he died in 2007, he even realized how bad people's low frustration tolerance was back in the 60s and 70s, when there was a much different connotation around work, for an example, purpose and life and meaning, and there wasn't nearly as much comfort as there is today with Netflix and food delivery and everything. The detriments of comfort today, we've teetered over. There was no middle ground. We didn't go really from, we did, but we just didn't even realize it. We went from the no information and not as much comfort to too information, and the glass is overflowing with comfort. People are being given everything. They're not having to work for anything. I know this because I grew up very, very spoiled. For whatever reason, I had a realization that lifestyle wasn't good. I'm very thankful for it, but it wasn't good for being a person in society, and realizing that life isn't easy. Life has hardships. People will make fun of you. People will judge you. If you try to create anything new, people will put you down. But all of that information we have has drove people to constantly worry. And this is so beyond OCD. We don't need to have this catered directly towards OCD sufferers. This is for basically anyone. So anyone who believes in their mind that, what's a good example? Let's see. Sleep. We always talk about sleep. If there was no internet and thankfully we have the internet, and we know that, sleep is important. I think people think that Rob and I think that sleep isn't important. Sleep is very important, but it's not nearly as important as you imagine. People got along just fine without sleep hygiene and sleep research. Okay? Sure, people might live another 20, let's say right now I told you were going to live for an extra 20 years, so 65 to 85. But to do that, you need to play it really safe. Not worth it to me. I'll die at 65. I'll just won't be here anymore. Because that's not living. You are born and you're just existing and then you're dying. That's more than likely not a great way to live your life. Because we have too much information, exercise is a great example. Once I dropped the ideology of overtraining and undereating and perfection and all the bodybuilding routines, which can be great, but they usually cause more problems than not. If I had to teeter, it'd be black and white, not problematic and problematic. If I had to be black and white, problematic. Exercise programs, nutrition regimens are more problematic than not. They create more psychological problems. I know because I do this in my regular day-to-day work, and I see it. The psychological attachment to perfection has fucked people up badly. It's not anyone's fault. We did not know it was going to happen. Usually people don't realize there's a major problem until it's too late. But what do? Do we backtrack? Do we start telling people they can't use the internet until you're 21? We're kind of in a weird area where I think it's really, for now, only going to get worse and get a lot worse. Where there's more perfection, there's more guidelines and regimens, and because of in America, the suing world, everyone's sue friendly, they want to get money from you. It's a whole big problem. The reality is, with exercise, if you want to work out 7 days a week, like I go to the gym every single day and do whatever. And I just have fun. Maybe I do HIIT cardio 3 days in a row. Maybe I walk on the treadmill for 7 days in a row. Maybe I do low reps. Maybe I do heavy reps. Maybe a buddy calls me and he's like, yo, let's do a CrossFit workout, and they do it. Dropping overtraining and dropping macronutrients was the best thing to ever happen to me in my life. And the same thing is for sleep. I get up every day at 5 in the morning just because I'm really busy and it works better for me. That way I can get a couple hours at the gym and then get started with the rest of my day, and that daily structure is nice for me. Which structure is great, but structure can definitely be taken too far. We talk about that a lot. There needs to be a balance. But last night I was watching, I went down the rabbit hole. I was watching crazy skiing and snowboarding runs until like 11. And I'm like, I gotta get up in 6 hours. And then Daisy woke me up. I don't really sleep that well anyway. But it was really important to realize that dire need for certainty on information was holding you back. Think about the information on, you got to get your checkups. There's nothing wrong with getting your health checkups if you're avoiding them, that you want to go get them. But if you're constantly worried about getting sick, if you're constantly worried about dying, if there was no internet, this would not be a problem, because the perceptions and the belief system comes from Dr. Google being at everyone's fingertips. So it's been amazing to speak to people all over the world, but it's also been a detriment. I wanted to make this video, not too long a video, talking about this. We will cover this in all the webinars coming up. I think there's a major problem with this right now. I think nobody's really talking about it, and I think it's probably only going to get worse. There's a reason why people taking their lives are on the rise, why anxiety and depression are on the rise. It's not because anxiety and depression have a consciousness and they're like, let's just bring up the statistics. No, the reason why they're on the rise is the perfection belief systems from social media, is the perfection belief systems surrounding not trying to get sick, trying to live forever and everything like that. Again, nothing inherently wrong with that. You could want to have sleep hygiene routines, but it could be taken too far. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember, the best thing that I live by, in my perception, is I live a pretty wild life. If it wasn't for Erica, I'd be out there on street bikes. Thankfully for Erica, I'd probably kill myself. I like adrenaline, call me an adrenaline junkie. I like hiking crazy mountains. I want to get out to Everest one day, definitely a big dream of mine, or Denali in Alaska, South America. So I like living my life, but I also like balance and like taking things for what they are. You can have both, but it needs practice to put all that into play. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, have a great day. Don't forget to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And all that stuff is, it's always fun to talk about this stuff. I'll see you later, guys.